This started with a private photo of a female Marine shared online without her consent. Then another and another. Soon, there were thousands. A secret Facebook group called Marines United had approximately 30,000 members, including active duty and retired U.S. Marines, Navy Corpsmen, and British Royal Marines. It was supposed to be a place where service members connected and supported each other, but instead, it turned into a gathering spot for harassment, exploitation, and abuse. Members posted explicit photos of female service members without permission, often attaching their names, ranks, duty stations, and links to their social media. Some encouraged stalking, others made threats, some even pushed for doxing, exposing personal details to fuel more attacks. As the group grew, so did the misconduct. It wasn't just photo sharing, but a platform for coordinated harassment and sexual violence threats. In early 2017, investigative journalist and Marine Corps veteran Thomas Brennan exposed Marines United, bringing the disturbing truth to light. The response was swift. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, launched an investigation, uncovering around 1,200 members involved, including 700 active duty Marines and 150 reservists. Military officials soon realized this was not an isolated incident. Reports emerged of similar groups across different branches of the armed forces, revealing a much larger issue of online abuse within the military. The scandal forced the Marine Corps to take action. Marine Corps Commandant General Robert Neller testified before Congress, admitting the problem ran deep. He said, "We've got to change, and that's on me."
General Neller, would you agree that taking down a site is not going to solve this problem?
I would agree with that, Senator. It's only a symptom.
I think it's really important that we recognize that this isn't a digital problem, it's not a social media problem, it's not Facebook's problem, that's a whack-a-mole approach. And we've tried it in the past, it doesn't work. This is a conduct problem, it's a criminal problem, and unfortunately, it's a cultural problem.
We've got to change, and that's on me.
Investigations led to disciplinary action, but justice was uneven. 55 Marines faced punishment, yet only 7 were court-martialed. Some were convicted for sharing explicit images, while others were charged with attempted wrongful viewing. A Lance Corporal, convicted of distributing explicit images without consent, was sentenced to a bad conduct discharge, 12 months in confinement, a fine, and a reduction in rank. Many others faced lesser consequences, sparking criticism about how seriously the military was addressing the issue. For the victims, the damage was lasting. Some left the military, unable to escape the shame and betrayal. Others struggled with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. One Marine, whose stolen photos spread across the internet, summed up her pain in one heartbreaking sentence. "I survived boot camp. I survived deployment. But I couldn't survive this."
In August 2016, I learned that a photo of me was posted on Marines United Facebook page without my consent. As a result of that posting, a former Marine posted a comment asking if anyone had naked photos of me. In January 2017, I contacted NCIS along with Google with my personal information to notify both of them about a shared drive, which contained indecent photos of women from all military services, organized by name, rank, and even where they were stationed. Some of them were naked, and information was provided on how these women could be contacted.
Authorities shut down Marines United, but the problem didn't disappear. Similar groups kept resurfacing under different names, hiding in private online spaces. Many female service members reported continued harassment, proving that banning one group didn't erase the toxicity that allowed it to exist in the first place. The scandal forced the military to acknowledge a deep-rooted issue, one that had been dismissed for far too long. Gender bias and mistreatment of female service members were deeply rooted in the culture. Marines United wasn't just one bad group. It was proof of a much bigger problem, one that still exists today. This group was called I'm 10 through 15, which is Border Patrol code for aliens in custody. It was not just a chat room or a place to share work stories. It was a private Facebook group with more than 9,500 members, most of them current and former Border Patrol agents. These were the people responsible for enforcing immigration laws, detaining migrants, and deciding who could stay and who would be sent back. Their job was supposed to be about law enforcement, but inside the I'm 10 to 15, hate and cruelty were everywhere. Agents shared memes making fun of dead migrants. One of the images they joked about showed Oscar Alberto Martinez Ramirez and his 23-month-old daughter, Angie Valeria, lying face down in the Rio Grande after losing their lives in the river. Some agents even suggested throwing migrant children into the river as a way to scare others from crossing. Others went after Latino lawmakers, especially Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and Representative Veronica Escobar. The post had edited photos meant to humiliate them. Others encouraged violence against Ocasio-Cortez because she spoke out against Border Patrol's treatment of migrants. These were not just a few bad apples hiding behind fake names. These were federal agents with badges, government paychecks, and the power to decide what happened to asylum seekers. Not just making dark jokes or blowing off steam, they were also openly making fun of the very people they were supposed to treat fairly. To them, the suffering of migrants was not something serious, it was something to laugh about. When I'm 10 through 15 was exposed by ProPublica in July 2019, the public was outraged. The Department of Homeland Security rushed to control the damage, while CBP Commissioner Kevin McAllen called the post completely inappropriate. Investigations began, and some agents were punished. Many expected real consequences, but that is not what happened. A 2021 House Oversight Committee report later showed that only 2 agents were actually fired, even though thousands had been in the group. Most only got short suspensions or warnings. One of the agents who was fired even got his job back after appealing. This was not just a problem with one Facebook group. It was part of a bigger issue inside the agency. For years, Customs and Border Protection, the largest law enforcement agency in the United States, had been accused of mistreating migrants, using too much force, and allowing racism to grow within its ranks.
This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet.
An investigation by The Intercept showed that the Border Patrol agents were rarely punished for wrongdoing, even when people died in their custody. A 2020 report from the Government Accountability Office also found that CBP failed to track and investigate complaints properly, making it easy for agents to act however they wanted without fear of punishment. Even after the public outcry and promises of reform, not much has changed. Border Patrol continues to operate with little oversight, and many of the problems remain. The I'm 10 through 15 scandal was not just about one Facebook group. It showed how some of the very people responsible for enforcing immigration laws truly felt about the people they were supposed to protect. When they thought no one was watching, they made it clear that they did not see migrants as people. They saw them as a joke. Imagine a mother desperate to help her autistic child, scrolling through Facebook for advice. She finds a group promoting Miracle Mineral Solution, or MMS. Members assure her it works. What they do not tell her is that it's bleach. CD Autism was a Facebook group that encouraged parents to give their children chlorine dioxide, a chemical used in industrial processes. They claimed it could cure autism by flushing out toxins. Parents shared alarming updates about their children screaming in pain, vomiting, and losing consciousness. The group dismissed these reactions as normal and insisted it was just toxins leaving the body. They told these parents to keep going.
The market in general is seeking, families like us, moms that are desperate, wanting answers, and so that we're preyed upon. We can't let our children be used as guinea pigs.
Some noticed their children expelling strange, stringy substances. They were told these were parasites or harmful biofilms breaking down. In reality, their children were shredding the lining of their intestines. Several were hospitalized. Some suffered permanent damage, yet the devoted followers of CD Autism refused to stop. Health authorities worldwide condemned MMS. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration warned that ingesting it is the same as drinking bleach and causes severe dehydration, dangerous drops in blood pressure, and organ damage. The UK's National Health Service called it a fake treatment and a dangerous scam. Facebook eventually shut down the group, but the people behind it did not disappear. Carrie Rivera, One of its most vocal proponents continued promoting her protocol through private chat groups, Telegram channels, and fringe websites. New communities emerged under different names and continued pushing chlorine dioxide as a cure. Parents kept asking how to give it to the children. Members kept telling them to keep going. The group was gone, but the harm never stopped. A Facebook group named We Love Schoolgirls had been operating covertly, gaining thousands of members. This secret group was hidden from public searches and only invited members could access its content. It remained active for months, unnoticed by Facebook's moderation system. Inside the group, individuals shared images of underage girls, many taken without consent from social media profiles, school websites, and even clothing catalogs. Some photos also appeared to have been taken secretly in public places. Members not only shared these images but also engaged in discussions, exchanging explicit comments and strategies on how to evade detection. Despite the disturbing nature of the content, Facebook's automated systems failed to flag or remove the group. Even more shocking, when specific images were reported, Facebook initially responded that they did not breach community standards, allowing them to remain online. It wasn't until a BBC investigation exposed its existence and public pressure mounted that action was finally taken. Facebook eventually took down the group. However, similar groups continue to surface, often adapting their tactics to avoid detection. While platforms work to improve their monitoring efforts, the challenge remains on how to effectively identify and remove such harmful content before it causes damage. In the past, cybercriminals used to hide in the dark web, away from public view. However, a startling trend emerged on Facebook, where groups with names like Spam Professional, Buy CVV on this shop, Pay with BTC, and Spammer and Hacker Professional openly sold stolen credit card data, hacking services, and phishing kits to anyone willing to pay. People could buy stolen bank logins, counterfeit passports, and full identity fraud packages with little effort. These groups weren't run by professionals, but by regular users blending fraud with their everyday lives. They didn't need advanced hacking skills or secret networks, they simply used Facebook. In 2019, cybersecurity researchers at Cisco's Talos division uncovered 74 Facebook groups dedicated to these scams, attracting around 385,000 members. Criminals weren't just using the platform to find buyers, they were using Facebook's own recommendation algorithms to expand their reach. Searching for stolen credit cards or hacking services often led users to even more criminal networks, allowing scams to spread further and faster. Even with strict policies against fraud, Facebook struggled to keep up. The platform's automated systems failed to detect and remove these groups quickly enough. When moderators shut them down, they created new ones just as fast. They tweaked group names, used private settings, and posted disclaimers pretending to be educational to evade detection. This wasn't just limited to stolen credit cards. There were entire underground markets affecting industries beyond cybersecurity. On Amazon, some groups ran entire review schemes, offered human smuggling services, and trafficked wildlife. In 2022, Amazon filed a lawsuit against the administrators of over 10,000 Facebook groups that recruited people to post fake reviews in exchange for money or free products. After multiple reports exposed these operations, Facebook removed the groups and promised stronger enforcement. The company said it improved its detection systems and increased human supervision to stop fraudsters before they could grow too big. By then, the damage was already done. Millions of dollars had been stolen. Fake identities had flooded the black market. These criminals had spent years exploiting Facebook's platform, building entire networks in the open, and for far too long, they got away with it. A post appeared in a Facebook group, just another message at first glance, offering cash for a kidney with no questions asked. But this wasn't a desperate plea from a sick patient. It was an organ black market operating in real time. The group was called Menkari Pendermaboa Pingang, Malay for looking for kidney donors. It was disguised as a support forum, but inside, kidneys were being bought and sold like secondhand furniture. Some offers were blunt, with one person listing a kidney for Rm 50,000, calling it urgent. Others were heartbreaking. A man pleaded for help, saying he needed money for his family and would donate a kidney to anyone who could pay. The sellers were mostly from poor communities, buried under debt, desperate for money. They saw no other way out. They were willing to risk everything, even their lives. A Malaysian man put his kidney up for sale at RM 300,000, saying he needed the money to reclaim his family land that had been pawned. Another man asked for RM 100,000, hoping to settle his father's debt with loan sharks. One woman listed hers for RM 55,000 to help pay off her family's mounting debts. Others were willing to go lower, some as low as RM 10,000 just to escape financial ruin. On the other side were buyers and patients running out of time, trapped in endless waiting lists. One of the buyers posted that money was not an issue and they just needed a healthy kidney as soon as possible. Another offered RM 300,000, desperate to save a loved one. Then came the brokers, connecting buyers and sellers for a cut of the deal. They arranged transplants in neighboring countries with weak medical laws. Some surgeries happened in back alley clinics with no oversight. Sellers were promised money, but not all of them got paid. Many were abandoned after surgery, left with scars and no compensation. Others suffered complications and some never made it home. For months, the group operated in the shadows until the first reports surfaced. In July 2024, complaints started reaching authorities. Screenshots of posts spread online. People were outraged. By August 2024, Malaysian media had picked up the story. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission confirmed that they had received complaints. Soon after, Facebook took the group down, but by then, the damage had already been done. Medical professionals warned that these illegal surgeries could be deadly. Without proper medical oversight, donors risked infections, kidney failure, even death. The group vanished from Facebook. No one knew if the platform removed it or if the administrators deleted it themselves. But that didn't mean the trade stopped. The sellers and buyers moved elsewhere, finding new ways to connect, and the cycle continued.